ungangibukeli phansi nami ngizoba mnandi makufezeke lami ngiyathandaza njalo Nkosi bheka ngakini ngijabulisa umzali ngiyathandaza njalo Nkosi bheka ngakini ngijabulisa umzali ngiyathandaza njalo Nkosi bheka ngakini ngijabulisa umzali ngiyathandaza njalo Nkosi bheka ngakini ngijabulisa umzali
Awusuka madoda yasho njalo intokazi madoda ulwandle unkulu uthi siyathandaza njalo Nkosi bheka ngakimi ngijabulisa umzali. My everyday prayer. I hope nawe mfethu ucula kanye nami uthi Nkosi ayikusize ukuze sijabulise abazali. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good people. Happy Tuesday, happy freaking Tuesday. Oh yeah, it's boy brother Nqewu. Umzulu kakhathi thofu impandla kajulu Juluma 7 zasho coffee mzinda 2. Ngabulalela insizwa aqende simaganka omsekelele ngoba mamina khahlela evithu udumande longagezanga wabona insele emfulo nagezanga wabona amafuka atenge. Siqunge sihle singahlalanyeni ngoba zona ndlela abasakabuli. Suka madoda bathi Nqewu uncebela indoda xikeza amadoda ngamanxeba egqumisa amaxoxa jika ncapha. Ukhozo lomaphiko phiko ndizela phezulu ezinyo ndizela phansi. Mcosho thole lenkomo zona zasinto umgqakazo. Phansi emlazi la ngisuka khona ngokuzala emfulo ngiphuza ngiphuza Sprite. Ngadlala ngiphuza ikhokho ngokuxubha gonyuka labamkeza into mzimfuna zonke noma sethu ukusindisiwe. Yeni na man Unqewu inceku deko kaningi bekele beke iviki neviki bathi inceku. Madoda suka madoda inceku iqhamuka lapho phansi elovu. Inceku that comes from private school kodwa engasazi isingisi. Sesikhona. NK1 Show bafethu. I hope you guys are good, fresh and active. I'm super excited to see you guys again. Sixolise ngokuthi singabi khona izolo. Usisi lo omunye umbhenge esitenge ngimusho. Lo niyambona lo uyena obengenawo ugesi izolo. Lo. Yes, aviwe. Guys, greetings, we're on vibe. Please do share the live, mention people. Kuzoba mnandi. We are on discussion of matrimonial systems in South Africa, part 2. Last week, Monday, it was an epic session. Lapho besiphethe umfoka Gcwensa nomfoka Gambushe. Hayi basigilela amagula basini basigulela amagula noma siqegula amagula. Kona lokho kodwa niyazi ukuthi ngifuna ukuthini. Danko asike siye lapho ku-host wethu sizeni ukuthi siphatheleni usibingelele uthini namhlanje. Awusuka madoda usisi laphana intokazi enhle kakhulu lapha kwaXhosa madoda aviwe nonhlanana umsuthu. Ntombi ana enhle unawo wonke amaXhosa engwazi. Ningangibethi kanjalo bethunana. Aviwa sisi.
Good evening, our favorite people. Oh, guys, we missed you so much. We're supposed to be last night. And then, omnye usisi had load shedding. So, we're here on a Tuesday. Then, you know what? Happy Monday. But I'm glad you did it. Happy Tuesday, our good people. It is nice to be appearing live on your screens once more. aka Umaga Expose My Therapy. But guys, is it me? I think my Zulu is getting perfect. Hey, host, back to you.
Hey, madoda sebekhuluma isingisi aviwe madoda sebekhuluma isiZulu. Hayi asazi. Bafethu I can see abantu bayangena. Niyabona ukuthi iti lenzeke namhlanje. Bafike bafonelana ba-inboxana bodwa bathi lalela ke sisi ngicela ukuthi ugqoke ublack nama sports amhlophe ukuze sizodayisa Unqewu. Yabo. Ngenxa ukuthi mina ke vele ngidlala imidlalo lena. Ngimdala ukuthi ngingadlala nale midlalo ngathi mina no, I won't listen to them. Ningaboni ke begqoke kanje. Into zabo vele banje. Yazi ke le gender.
You wouldn't understand.
Whatever.
Iqiniso lithi siyibambe kumoya wena Nqiwa uhlali kumoya. That's your problem.
Iqiniso. Whatever. Lungile ka sasemnika ithuba ngoba usevele wayinika ke ithuba akasibingeleleke. Usisi ohlala kumoya akasibingeleleke.
Angiqala ukufika la ekhaya ngithe ngifika nje ngathi ngibasekhaya ngoba it's not my first time.
Sizophathwa namhlanje and understand stand frustrated.
But anyway,
yini ngayithatha ishow nake ithatha ishow Mbali ithathe ke ishow yakunika in community of property mina ithathe
angeke isabi NK show izobe NK show MK show Mbali Kheswa show indaba ka NK nje ayisekho.
Mbali, just introduce yourself, bruh. See why you're my politics.
Ngiyabingelela Nkosi yami to everyone that is listening to us tonight. I greet mainly Brother Nleu and co-host yakho Sisi. Ngibingelela ngegama lika Jesu Nkosi yami. Igama lami Mbaliyenkosi. Ngiyazi ukuthi uma posta kubhalwe Mbalenhle, please ignore that. Mbaliyenkosi igama lami. Ngiwaka Kheswa isibongo. NgiwunoZulu umnguni. But I think above all else, I am a child of God and I am in the legal space. I have reasons for that, but I work in the legal space. And so I'm very much excited to be given the opportunity to share my knowledge, my very little knowledge that I have on what we are talking about tonight.
Oh wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much Mbalisto. And isixoleleke ngoba sibhale lapha ukuthi Mbalenhle kanti Mbaliyenkosi mina ngiyibona ifana le nto yinhle limbali ngoba vele yinkosi into yenkosi inhle vele ukuthi ke legend niyayazi legend iyathanda Bafethu, on a serious note, asibingelele ababukeli bethu, I can see people are tuning in. Bafethu, you'll know the vibe, you'll know the grill. Please do share the live mention people. Namhlanje sibuye part 2 kwe discussion matrimonials systems in South Africa. Yesterday, I was saying yesterday. Last week it was epic. Last week it was very interesting discussion that we are having. Namhlanje sizothi sokunweba kancane because we have usiswethu lana usiswethu who she is in who is in legal space. Law space or legal space mina ngifundile niyazi angifundile mina so law space noma illegal ukuyona ke leyo nto le so she's going to explain to us asichazele lama regimes ukuze sithi mase sifika emshadweni makuthi nizoshada nina ngoba nginithembi sazi ukuthi which one to choose and how to choose and then imapha ama benefits imapha ama advantage ama disadvantage konke nje sizofunda. So please do share the live, mention people. Akube mnandi sense kube mnandi njengoba kwakumnandi last week. Yeah, mention people bafethu siyanicela. I'm seeing 23 people lan for now. So ngicela abafethu ni press nje ushare button. Just press share button. Ukuze nabantu bakho bakwazi ukuthi babone. Without waste of any time, asitedele usizimbalisto siswami. Last week, Mbali, we had a very nice discussion with my two brothers.
Yeah.
Sixoxa nje sidiscussa ngabo in community of property ukuthi why should abantu if they decide ukuthatha in community of property in community of property kwenzakalani nani we out of community of property kunani sathola ukuthi kunemilenze u2 angazi initial noma crucial but yona leyo. So besifuna ukuthi mhlawumbe before we go further sikubuze eminye imibuzo ngale discussion. I just want you to explain to us ukuthi when you talk about in community of property, what kind of contract is it or regime is it? Yini oyithola ngaphansi abantu abanjani if abantu beshada in community of property labo bantu bakwenzakalani imapha ama advantage and imapha ama disadvantage, and then again you quickly jump to out of community of property nayo uyichaze nemilenze yakhona u2 and then nakhona uyichaze ukuthi out of community of property yenzani kwenzakalani what kind of contract it is imaphi yinhle ngani futhi yimbi ngani. So ukuze ngoba wena in a legal space or law space maybe you have ulwazi because vele usebenza ngazo lezi zinto lezi, and then afterwards ususichazelile sobe sesikushaya ngemibuzo sikubuze nama-experiences oke wabhekana nawo concerning lento esikhuluma ngayo. So siswami, I just want to give you a platform ukuze uzosichazela kahle singakubuza imibuzo etshekile mhlawumbe ngoba wena uzazi kangcono lezi zinto.
Okay, ngiyabonga futhi Bhuti for inviting me tonight. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. It's such an honor.
We invited you.
Ngiyabonga. So just briefly, explain ilokhuzana umehluko phakathi kwemshado ukuthi abantu bangashada kanjani. We three. We have marriage in community of property, marriage out of community of property without an accrual, marriage out of community of property including an accrual system. So ngizozama ukuchaza bhuti wami without being too technical. Ngithanda ukuthi uma ngichazela umuntu ikakhulukazi umuntu into angayazi ngizama ukuyenza nje ukuthi I understand kangcono ngingazama ukukhulumisa.
Okay, okay, she's back.
Thank God. So there's no point in me speaking ngamagama amakhulu kanti abantu abazi understand. So uma ngabe abantu sithi bashade in community of property, I think the first thing we need to know is that lo mshado is automatic. Wenzeka nje just by virtue of you getting married. So uma ngasubhuti avuke namhlanje athi nje ngifuna ukuyolobola, ngifuna ukuyoshada, automatically you would be married in community of property ka home affairs. Le minye imishado emibili idinga ukuthi uyiregister. Ngisazokuchaza ngokuhamba kwesikhathi ukuthi wenza kanjani, but umshado in community of property automatically nje uma ufuna ukushada ka home affairs ababuzi into eziningi, you're just married in community of property. So lokho kusho ukuthi ama assets obukade unawo noma izinto okade unazo nxa before you got married, so your properties, your houses, your cars, imali zakho, all investments that you have made or whatever that you got even before shada will become a part of your joint estate nonkosikazi wakho. So lokho akusho kodwa ukuthi uthola just izinto like your cars, your houses, nemali, even ikweletu, even your debts. So uma ngabe ubukweletu unesifasi, uma ngabe ubuneyikweletu in endaweni ezingafani, zonke lezo yikweletu ungena nazo in estate SA joint ke manje ezoba eyakho neka mama. Naye ngokunjalo, it's not just you. So both of you guys come together and have one joint estate where yeah, noma angachazi kakhulu manje, but let me just say that. So obviously, yeah, there are advantages and there are disadvantages to everything. Ngizocela ukubeka i-disclaimer lapho ukuthi ngizokhuluma kodwa sometimes the screen angizosibheka because I'm multitasking. I have my notes opened. So ngizobe refer to my notes because I did write down a few points and then ngizobuye yabo multitask. I hope that's fine. So we have advantages, disadvantages as well, because I can take an advantage, I can take a disadvantage. However, but I want to mention this. I think it's quite important. I've heard a lot of Christian couples that I have had the privilege of meeting and discussing. Betty Bona, when they were going through marriage counseling, they were advised by either umfundisi wabo or umuntu ebandleni omdala okade bathatha for marriage counseling ukuthi bashade in community of property. Ngoba out of community of property usho ukuthi uthi umzalwane uyashada kodwa so ucabanga ukudivorce. Basho njalo. I've heard a lot ngalezo zinto ukuthi baya discourage ukuthi how can you have separate estates kanti izwi lenkosi lithi ninyamane manishadane nibanyamane, so we share everything, uyabona. So but discourage weke on those grounds ukuthi uma ngabe sesizoba nezinto ezingafani, how is that oneness achieved? And my answer to them, Boti, has always been ukuthi, you know, uNkulunkulu is an extremely intelligent, for lack of a better word, intelligent God. There are certain things that are very explicit as Mbaliyenkosi mayelana nomshado. You know, there are certain instructions as there are specifically to husbands, and there are specific instructions to wives. Now, the Bible does not speak of matrimonial property systems because legally, umshado is a contract between two people. It's just a contract. So that area, I don't believe as Mbaliyenkosi ukuthi it is covered as Mbaliyenkosi indaba yohlobo lwe-matrimonial property system abantu ekumele bashade ngalo. It's just to the couple's discretion. It's not biblical in any way. However, the functioning of marriage, kwezinye izinto, or in most things, or in all things, zibhaliwe biblically ukuthi senza kanjani. Two, ngisakumshado in community of property, there is a belief engifuna ukuthi sibuke kakhulu yokuthi uma sishade out of community, so sihlukanisile izinto, we can't own things together. It's false. Just because Boti asizuhlanganisa when we are starting our marriage does not stop us ukuthenga an asset together. I don't know if that makes sense. So just because sizoshada out of community of property, akusho ukuthi asikwazi ukuthi ukuthenga izinto as a couple together in the future. It doesn't stop us. So people are able ukuthi bahlukanise, but bekhona izinto abahlanganisa abakhetha ukuthi bazikho-own jointly. So back to the in community of property thing that I spoke about. So nine asset eyodwa. So nine estate, sorry, eyodwa. So advantages to this. I think I can list about 3 of them. Because ngiyazi ukuthi ubhuti Sianda and the other guests, last week, they really spoke a lot, and most of his cover tonight. So one of the advantages is that it's a very simple thing. It's a very simple, complicated, it's very straightforward. Everything we have is equally ours. We share it equally between ourselves, right? It's very simple, it's very straightforward, it's very automatic, it has less hassle, automatic, right? The second one is that it fosters a sense of fairness between couples, because they transparency balula, because even in banks, kunezinto ongeke ukwazi ukuzenza ebhenki ibhuti wami uma ngabe ushade lolu hlobo lomshado unkosikazi wakhe engekho, yabona. So kwabanye abantu, you can't even buy a car without your spouse being present. So it fosters that sense of oneness in marriage ukuthi konke esikwenzayo, I need your consent, I need you to sign, yabona. It's also cost effective. IDs, because there's no need ukuthi uyobonana with the financial planner or uyobonana with ummeli ukuze uyenze. It's just idinga wena and a marriage counselor, nishade, and then that's it. So it's very straightforward, easy, ayikho complicated. Hence, most people in South Africa are married in community of property, right? However, there are a lot of disadvantages that I can list. And I'll make an example ngento eyenzeke kumina not so long ago. Angishadile, but ngibone kwama requirements yento ekade ngiyi-applyela, and I was just like, yazi abantu who are married in community of property are going like lento iyabashaya kakhulu. I was applying for something, ne? And one of our requirements for lento ekade ngiyi-applyela ibithi I must not be under debt review, right? Okusho ukuthi kubone lento debt review eyikweleti ukuthi I mustn't be umuntu o under debt administration. But yase ibhala in brackets ukuthi or married to someone or married in community of property to someone who's under debt review. Now we meet people and we get married. Uthola ukuthi umuntu ushada naye kanti they are under debt review. And then when uzoshada nalowo muntu nihlanganise, automatically now uyangena. Unqatshelwe ukwenza izinto that you had previously qualified for because of the person you married. So before you got married, ubukade ungena inkinga, ubuqualify for izinto kade uyi-applyele, ubuqualify for loans, if ufuna ukuthatha loan, ubungena inkinga ngoba igama lakhe belingangcolile. But automatically, because now you are married to someone who's under debt review and you are married in community of property, uba senkingeni ngoba phela uyabona uya-affecteka ngoba i-estate yakhe isenkingeni and you are joining both your estates together. So ngibonile and of course besengazi ukuthi I'm coming here tonight, and I was just like lento iyabashaya abantu ngoba manje a lot of things financially change for you as an individual umushada bese ushada lenhlobo yomshado. So one of ama disadvantages is the joint liability for debt. You guys are responsible for each other's debts. Ama creditors or third parties have every right ukuthi mabefuna isikweletu, they cite both you and your wife because nine estate eyodwa. Isikweletu owasithatha nxa usingakahlangani ngingakakwazi, and then automatically ngiyangena kusona kwesinye isikhathi. So you are at a very huge financial risk uma ngabe ushade lolo hlobo lomshado. You also have very limited autonomy. So azikho izinto okwazi ukuzenza individually that are financial. Njengoba bisengichazile ukuthi unkosikazi wakho uzomdinga in each and everything ebhenki oyenzayo, mhlawumbe uboleka imali or you are buying something or uthatha isikweletu, kuzomela consent to each and everything that you're doing. And that's the last disadvantages that I want to list tonight. And then the second matrimonial property system that we have is marriage out of community of property with the accrual system. Now, the accrual system can be very complicated. It can be very complicated, but I think the best way to explain it in simple terms is ukuthi zonke izinto that I had prior getting married are mine, right? So if I had a car, I had a house, those things zihlala ziba ezami nje. And then what happens is when our marriage dissolves, ukudissolva ke komshado akusho ukuthi siyadivorca. Marriage can be dissolved by death. So ukshona uma ngase kwenzeke oyedwa wethu ashone, we have to share in what has accrued in the substance of the marriage. I think that's the most simplest way engayibeka ngayo. So what has accrued ukukhula kwama estates wethu in the process of umshado wethu is what we share, right? Iyasiza kakhulu leyo nto in helping. Okay. Yebo baba. Yes.
Singakhohlwa sihambe nawe. Ngicela nje ukukuvala la kancane ukuze la uthi kwi out of community of property accrual, right?
Yes, lesikhuluma ngayo has the accrual system, yes.
Okay, accrual system. Now I want to ukuthi kube clear because ngisale kancane angazi noma mhlawumbe khona nomunye usalile njengami. Uthi la if singena emshadweni out of community of property with accrual, into ebenginayo before ngishade nawe izoqhubeka ibe yami, but if ikhula or whatever we have sesishadile, if I die kuzoba 50-50. Are you saying that?
You see, with the spouses retain, so this is what I wrote down in my notes, that when accrue, spouses retain separate estates while sharing in the growth of their assets that are acquired during the marriage. So spouses retain their separate estates. So our estates are initially separate, but we share in the growth of our assets that are acquired during the marriage. So the only assets that we get to share are assets that are acquired in the substance of our marriage. So sishadile during the duration. So before death, koda after marriage.
So whatever that we make or we had, says shadile.
You share in the growth of that.
Okay, all right. No.
In the growth of it. So it's not just to 50-50, but in the growth, because yeah, it's gonna depend telling ubani obekade estate enkulu kunomunye, and then lo munye unelungelo lokuclaim kuleli elikhulu. Yiko ngisho ngithi it's a bit complicated because it involves a lot of costs and calculations and yabo yonke leyo nto. Phela kumele siqale sibuke ukuthi ama estates wethu akhipha bethini before we got married, and then but attain i-growth yawo ibingakanani during the substance of our marriage to determine ukuthi ubani obene estate enkulu kunomunye, then lo enkulu kuyena uyaqenyelwa by ulo encane kuyena. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not sure.
It makes sense now. Yes.
Yeah. So now, Connor, there are advantages and there are disadvantages. But I mean, one of the main advantages where you include in a cruise system is financial autonomy, of course. So you still have ilungelo lokwenza without your wife. You are financially free when you are married out of community of property with an accrual system. Most of them don't need your wife. You still maintain your ownership and control over your respective estates, right? But also there's also a sense of accumulation of shared wealth. So because both that's a second advantage. Both partners benefit from the growth of their joint estate, right? So that's a second advantage. And then its disadvantage is that it's very complex. It has calculations, because you're going to need a notary. So you need a specific attorney. It's not just all lawyers. Not all lawyers are able to make an antenuptial contract. Udinga a specific set of an attorney called a notary public. So bayabiza butwam ukuthi bangakwenzela yonke leyo. So nayo advantage disadvantage yayo is yabiza, it's costly, but I mean, if people want to do it and people believe ukuthi I right for bona, then definitely it's worth the cost. It's worth the cost. I will, however, say that ukuthi but as someone who is in the legal space, it's never my duty to tell people what to do, what to choose. Owami is just to place it before you. Ngikutshele advantages and disadvantages of all three of them, and then let you be the one to decide on what works for you. Of course, you are more than welcome to ask. You are more than welcome to sit down with estate planners, to sit down with financial planners. But I can't be the one to dictate when I'm so abantu kumele ba exercise lulungelo ukuthi yebo sikhona for ulwazi, but so it's something that they have to discuss extensively with their spouses or future spouses ukuthi senza njani. Futhi angicabanga ukuthi bhuti wami into lena ekwazi ukucover within just a single consultation. It's not you repeatedly see professionals, you sit down, you discuss, you go back home, you discuss, and then before you can fully decide ukuthi sikhetha in yabon. Right, so the last matrimonial system we have is very easy. It's very straightforward. It's out of community of property without the accrual. So we're not sharing anything, lab. We're not sharing anything. I have my own estate. You have your own estate. I think that's the most simple way. And usually when you deal with divorce cases or in death, lama estates are very complicated. There are two separate estates. So in the you have a spouse is something ingaconsider. Obviously, there's advantages, there's disadvantages. One of the advantages of having a separate estate is financial independence and also simplicity in the asset division, especially in cases of divorce. And but its disadvantage is there's a lot of lack of shared accumulation. There's also mostly it does not enhance. It's believed that it does not enhance transparency in marriage. You can do without considering me. What can I say? You don't need my consent in some things, in most things. So yeah, that's the three different regimes that we have.
Wow, thank you very much, Swami. Izinto indlela nje ochaza ngayo ubeke yonke into yabasobala and wenza kwabalula ukuthi nathi si-understand lezi zinto because thina besazi ukuthi if ushada in community of property sazi ukuthi okwami okwakho okwami and then sazi nje leyo ndawo leyo. So wena-ke by going deep you're making us fully aware ukuthi no, nama advantages and here are some disadvantages. So again, same thing applies to the out of community of property with accrual and without accrual. So, guys, I believe everything is clear by now to you all, because also even last week I remember Ukambusho wasi everyone were engaging. I understand ukuthi kahle kahle sikhuluma ngani. So Mbali-ke usevele wafaka istembu and she made everything clear and it was crystal clear. Before siphoste lapha ku-co-host wethu angazashaya ngiyambona ihlo sesibuka ngalo lapha phansi kweyibuko, ngicela nje ukuthi siphuthume kule mbuzo le while Mbaliyenkosi esashisa nje safudumele kade sichazele ngama-regimes. Umfaka Gambushe lapha usenda Chonco uthi, how critical is the involvement of a person from the legal field as well as a financial planner during premarital counseling? Do you advocate for marriage officers too, or do you advocate for marriage officers to bring these into allow for the couple to have all information at their disposal at the beginning in order to make an informed decision going forward? So this is a question from Musianda to you, Mbaliyenkosi.
Putisianda, I've been actually meaning to inbox you because I know you're in the financial planning sector, man. I know him from church. I know him from
Don't explain.
Oh, sister in Christ, come, city. God said, but angisho njalo, she's a konqeku, but it's fine. Carry on.
I've been meaning to inbox him ngoba ngiyamazi ukuthi he's in financial planning, but yabona lento ithanda ukuba deep ngoba uma ngabe sesikhuluma nge-involvement yomuntu owummeli noma umuntu oyi-financial planner uma ngabe abantu beya for marriage counseling esontweni, kusho ukuthi singena khaxa ey'ntweni ney'miso zamamanje. You know, you get very traditional churches engafuni ukwabala who are very strict, ekakhulukazi makuza kulezi zinto zomshado. Although I think it is a very necessary thing, I still think kuzoba nzima for us to actually penetrate and get it to be done, especially in traditional churches ngoba njengoba bengishilo ekuqaleni, most people ebese ngingakhuluma nabo ababethi abefundisi, they were telling them to not separate assets are people from traditional churches. Ibona befundisi who would advise them ukuthi it's not good ukuthi nihlukanise bahlanganisane ngoba futhi bangabi nesinye isizathu ngaphandle kokuthi izwi lenkosi lithi ninyamani. Now uyabona ukuthi it's just umfundisi, not that ngibathatha kancane befundisi inkosi yami, I come from a family of pastors, but it's good ukuthi in a marriage counseling session kube nabantu who are well informed about certain things ukuze bezolekelela. So I do think kubalulekile. And personally, this is just my personal advice as an attorney. Ukuba kuya ngami, ngaba abantu ama-antenuptial contracts bawasayina even before balotsholwa. Because I have seen it, ukuthi currently, as it stands legally, ilobolo equals marriage. I've seen a lot of it. Yebo, there is room, there's a gray area currently. Parliament, as I think last time I checked, we're still busy drafting something. But currently, as it is legally, in most cases that I have handled, and most estates that I have administered, umuntu nje uthi ilotsholiwe, simbuze ofisini ukuthi unayo incwadi yabakhongi, athi nginayo, automatically lo umuntu kaMaster, they customarily married. So as it stands, ukulotsholwa, even if it means awuqediwe, but ukulotsholwa means you are married in COP. So ukuba kuya ngami, ngaba abantu ama-antenuptial contracts bawasayina even before ilobolo lifike. So mhlambe ulotsholwa ngoMgqibelo, niye kaMmeli ngoLwesihlanu and sign it on Friday, then on Saturday ke uyalotsholwa ke ke uba kuya ngami. Akumele ngaba kushada kwakushada. But uyabona ukuthi uma ngabe uzofika ebandleni usengizosho leyo nto kanjalo kuzobe ngathi ngifuna abantu bakhiphe manje. Ngoba phela kulotsholiwe, abefundisi ngeke bayingene into engalotsholiwe engena substance engaqalanga ekhaya. So though I do feel ukuthi there is a great need for the church to be educated about this, futhi for abantu who are professionals bangene and be involved kakhulu kuma marriage counseling sessions, I do think ukuthi into ezoba nzima kakhulu ukuthi implement kwamanye amabandla engeke ngize ngwabale.
So siswami imali lento yokulobola, because angithi phela makulobola it's a traditional thing. Makulotsholwa kuyayiwa wena kummeli, ngiye kummeli ukuthi hayi sengilobolile laphana. So bazi kanjani
Bazi kanjani oba? Cela ungiphindele.
Airport ngilobolile mina, so sesishada i-COP.
Phela okay, mhlambe ngihlulekile bhuti wami ukuchazela. Emsebenzini, I work in the estates department, so I specialize in wills and estates. So basically amafa, just for lack of a better word, amafa, right? So if avele into yomuntu ebuka ngobuso ngasekho nxeyo, indaba yefa lakho ayonto esina kusaphila, inako wena wedwa by making sure ukuthi ubhali iwili and you're getting all the advice necessary. But thina as beneficiaries asinandaba kakhulu usaphila. We only take interest once you're dead, right? I've had so many clients, I can't even count ukuthi bangaki ngokwenamba, that have received or have benefited from ama estates abantu ababelotsholwe yibo bengashadile. There's no marriage certificate esi-attacha masi report estate, si-attacha nje just incwadi yokuthi ngalotsholwa. Angithi uyazi ukuthi imalobola negotiations ikhonto ebhalwayo, kuyabhalwa ukuthi ene inkomo ibengaki, angaze ngiyibone, angiyazi kodwa hayi ukuthi angaze ngiyibone, but ngisho ukuthi I've never been physically present ibhalwa, but I've seen it obviously ngomsebenzi engwenzayo ukuthi kuyabhala ukuthi ene inkomo zibengaka, mhlambe there's a remainder engaka esele, bese kusayina abakhongi laphayana, mhlambe kusayina abakhongi abawu-2 as witnesses, I don't know, but kuba into edraftiwe nje, kuyabhalwa. Akekho umuntu oseke walotsholwa wangabi nayo incwadi eshoyo eyiproof yokuthi ulotsholwe ngey'nkomo ey'ngaka, kuyabhalwa. Umthetho does allow abantu ukuthi ba-attache lezo y'ncwadi uma as proof yokuthi lo muntu oshonile abane-interest efeni lakhe athole. Now uma sesireporta leyo estate and sichaza i-capacity yakho njengomuntu oclaimayo efeni, sithi uyi-customary wife, by virtue of leyo ncwadi yokulobola, even if it means awucacanga, awunasigcawu. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So leyo ncwadi yiko ngithi mina kuhle ngoba abantu sebekwazi ukuthi umthetho because listen, in my personal conviction ngiyazi ukuthi umuntu olotsholiwe akashadile lezo, ngoba ziningi izinto ezisuke ezingakenziwa. NjengomZulu ngiyazi ukuthi umuntu olotsholiwe usuke uyingoduso, usungasiyo unkosikazi, umfazi. ngiyazi. But the law is something else. Umbali osekhaya or owazisizulu is different from what the law currently is, or whatever, or direction esiya kuyona njengamanje. So ama-personal convictions wami ngiwabeke eceleni. Noma umuntu ongimazi kahle ukuthi ayichawusi inkosikazi wena uyingoduso, ngiyathula phela ngoba ngithi kunencwadi eshoyo and umthetho uyakuvuma lokho. Simsiza umuntu aclaime athole imali zomuntu wakhe phele kanjalo.
Oh yeah.
So just to be safe, yiko ngithi abantu ama-antenuptial contracts abawasayine before the lobola negotiations if they want to protect themselves from land. Ngoba kungenzeka Ncewu iqiniso lithi as much as sifuna ukushada ibhadi nje liyenzeka ukuthi uthanda ukulobola ushona. And ubunesifiso wena sokuthi mhlawumbe izinto zakho or your assets zibe distributed in a certain way. Yabo manje mengabe mina sengizogijima nencwadi yokulobola ngithi uNcewu I'm a customary wife, kuzo disturb a lot of things.
Yo. Bafethu kuningi esingakwazi sihleli siyahleka nje kanti kushube kanje bafethu angihloniphe kodwa usiyanda bafethu uthi angakolobuli mina angazi wasiyanda awuhloniphi siyanda bafethu no sobuya kwama comments mase sesivala asibuyele lapha ku co-host wethu singaze sishawa bafethu angifuni nami ukuxoxa emsebenzini engikwenzayo asibuyele lapha ku co-host inkosi yami awu siyaxolisa inkosi yami kusuke yabo kwanwebeka imibuzo nkosi yami ungashayi asibuyele lapha ku co-host size ukuthi co-host yena usiphatheleni and then mase sesivala mayethandile co-host then zobe sesiyabuyela kunina ababukeli bethu sifunda ama comments sithi ukubuza umbali ngemibuzo nje embalwa then mase ziyakhala bafethu ngiyabona ngicela ukuthi nibhale phansi yabo mina ngenze njani la ngifuna ukuyolobola so ngifuna ukwenza show cela nibhale phansi and nilungise no makuthi nifuna ukuconsult umbali ninguso 10,000 bokuthi nihambe niyohlala nombali nihlale naye phansi ningafuni angifuni nimuse umbali ithi ha phela sakuthola ku NK1 Show ngoNcewu base niyamuse no 10,000 uconsult umbali u2,000 u1,000 uyishumuza la kumina co-host
wembali Gogo wasukhuluma ngama-figures amakhulu. Guys, ndiyabhala on my phone. I don't want you guys saying ba andinihoyanga ku-live ndinihoyile. Ipeni yami iwile and ndiwele endaweni very critical, so angikwazi ukuyicosha because ndiku-live. Okay, Mbali, last week when we were discussing le topic, athina mna nabantu abaninzi naboncewu kanje siye sakhetha uba sicela out.
Sure.
With Wakruwa.
Sure.
So again, there are points that you mentioned, Payana, and I'm sure my people, they want to know Njenganam, Ababekete in community with Wakruwa. I mean, out of community with Wakruwa. So how expensive are these fees? Like roughly, if I'm but like how expensive? Like how much are we looking at? Like no way roughly the correct one.
It varies, right? It varies, right? Ama-firms awafani. Uzofika la ngisebenza khona mina and sizoqale sikucharge a consultation fee, sikucharge imali yokuvula ifile and then actually charge you for notary ke it-charge imali for actually drafting yonke lento ekumele idraft. And njengoba sengishilo, it's not something I drafta ngosuku olodwa bese niyavumelana ngayo nisayine. Uyayidrafta nibuke, you ask her to edit before nisayine yabo. So it's a long process. Obviously nemali yakhona izosho ukuthi lento akusinte engiyidrafte in my sleep nase nisayine. But roughly last time I checked yabo lento engingenzisa yona izongifaka enkingeni. But roughly, I would think ukuthi umuntu mangabe bebudgeta. Nakhona futhi it depends on which law firm. Njengoba sengichazile, smaller law firms tend to charge a bit lesser, and then bigger law firms, obviously because they're big, nama-fees wabo are big. But I think for a small, go to a medium-sized law firm, mhlawumbe imali nje ongakuyilungisa is about 20K, 20 to 25.
Hey, Mbali! Hey, Mbali! Wexani manje?
Kanti benifuna ukhipha u-2.5. Benifuna ukhipha u-2.5.
Kodwa phela bengicinga mhlawumbe phambi ku-10K. Kanti nje ndicinga uba okay,
Yeah,
let's come down
I
to
guess, yeah. Mhlampe, yeah. Like, mhlampe angeke ngithi between 10, 15, 20.
okay.
Around there.
Let's come down to into ye prenup. How expensive is laa nto ye prenup and how long does it take? If umntu wam decide into yobana uba uyandilobola ngomso, angakwazi ukuza namhlanje sifike sisayine le nto ingasokolisi and yona itshingitshing izithini.
Yo, okay, with prenups, I wouldn't with signing ilokuzana draft ANC, I wouldn't suggest ukuthi ngivele kube into any personally ngoba njengoba sengishilo kuthatha isikhathi kumele ngihlale phansi nani nginichaze sibuke a lot of things. What do you have? What does your partner have? What are your financial goals together as a couple? You know, sibuke a lot of things, and so indaba yokuthi ngizofika namhlanje wena kusasa ngoba ngiyalobola kusasa ithanda ungabi yinhle kahle. I wouldn't advise couple to do that, but however kuyenzeka sisi ikhona nje couple eyake approach ngoDecember, uyazi ngoDecember iyalotsholwana strong, and there was a couple that
Salile nakulo wave.
sisalile kuleyo waves, sisalile futhi ngempela. Ikhona couple eyake approacha icela ukuthi ibhalwe ilokhuzani, kwasho ukuthi vele they are not complicated people. They're not really even in business or anything or have aspiring businesses. They just both professionals and they wanted something very simple. Kwabalulu ukuthi kwathatha just the template that we had the office in. I wouldn't advise that ngoba ngumuntu very specific and I'm a perfectionist.
Oh.
But bona sabenzela ke ngaleyo ndlela and bayisayina before. Ukuthi I think it is important for me to mention ukuthi once nayisayina, the anti-nuptial contract has to be registered at its office within 3 months isayiniwe. I register Home Affairs, unlike umshado, iya to the deeds office. At deeds office iyodwa la eKZN iseMaritzburg. So it goes through that process before everything goes to Home Affairs. Awukwazi uqala ngokuyoshada uregister umshado wakhe Home Affairs anti-nuptial contract ungayibhalile ngoba kumele iqale iye at the deeds office after being drafted by a notary, and then once they approve everything, then ke seningakwazi ukuthi nishadeke bese kuyimakiwa Home Affairs. Ukuze kube specific ekutheni certificate isiphume sibhale ukuthi married out of community or property, depending on ukuthi you have or you don't have an accrual system.
Yes,
so
I was thinking
yabona ukuthi kwayona process it takes, angazi ukuthi mhlambe ngathi singanani ngoba kumele iqale approve isizina lapha ya elokhuzaneni at deeds office before, and then takes about 12 weeks. Kwabanye abantu kuya depend on how complex it is. As fun iyahluka.
Hayi bombali. Ngoku umntana abantu sengaze atshintshe iminds ngenxa ye-prenup. Hey bafethu, hayi niyasichana. Hayi khayini. Yazi Mbala,
Ufuna izinto ey'sheshayo.
Bengicinga uba i-prenup yinto straightforward, like ayohluki. Kanti it varies for different people. I didn't know that.
No,
Thank you so much.
Of course, I mean legally there's laws that are governing ukuthi uyibhala kanjani, because nami drafter contracts are very, very specific. Khona ezinye izinto that you can't put that's against public policy or public law uzifake yabo. It's governed by umthetho. You can't just give the exam like, okay, right, I'm drafting an ANC. I'm guided by the law as to how to draft it. But ekuthenini kukhonani ngaphakathi kuya ngani nobabili ukuthi sifaka in. Mina as a notary, I'm just there to guide ekuthenini izinto ngizibhale in the most legal manner. uyabona. Ngenze sure futhi ukuthi it's clear, it's not vague, ayizuba problematic in the future, uyabo, izinto ey'kanjalo, ngoba ngisho nokuyishintsha, it's a very expensive process. Awuvele nje uze kumina uthi, hey Mbali, I wanna change it. There's a difference between the izinto that you can move. Like, so for example, we anti-nuptial contract yakho, if mhlambe ekudrafteni kwami there were a bit like spelling errors, kulula ukuthi ungeza kumina sizokurectify. But to change the content of what's in the ANC, you have to apply to the High Court in order for it to be changed. There has to be a court order by a judge. So that is a separate legal process. And I think this is one of the things that abantu abangazazi. We want to get married out of community. Yeah, it's very expensive. It's
and no
very
wonder
expensive.
going for in community of property, because it's the easiest way. And it's abantu abamnyama asizifuni into ezisokolisayo.
Yeah.
And another thing with but with justice system, anything that has to do with the government, like you have to gravel.
Yeah.
And then uchoniswe ngapha nangapha, or ifumane into straightforward. So I think those are the things you guys ekufanele banizivelele, because nina ninolwazi oluthe vetshe. And also you also touched into yamabandla, into yokubana amabandla awayithandi out of community of property, because it seems like it's bringing a division, of which that makes total sense. Like, I understand, and I'm good point of view lebona abavela kuyo abantu abadala. And sorry to abantu abadala, I also feel like it's a bit naive, because abanye abantu, they just get into marriage for ill intents zabo. Well, akuyo into eyenzeka ixesha elininzi. And also, yes, Mbali, I had a story whereby there was this guy, this lady, in fact, she bought a car and then she gave it to the boyfriend for business. And then his boyfriend, and then this girl later on got married to Omyumfana in community of property. She had la debt yala mojo that was moshakala nje altogether kwaphela ngayo, but she was still paying for it. So this guy now had to pay with umntu wakhe, with the now wife, bill yento eyenziwa ex-boyfriend. Can you imagine?
Yeah, because you get your partner's debts as well. It's not just you guys sharing in assets, you share in debts as well. So it's risky on. It's a huge risk. It's a huge risk.
Wembali. Okay, sorry, host. I'm so sorry. This is my last question. I promise, I swear. Wembali. Ngoku, if ke ngoku umntu wam, we've just decided into yobana most of those zethu friends, but we just grew apart. Oh my God, but God forbid, Tofia for me, in Jesus' name. So if ke ngoku umntu wam decide uba into yobana no, mna, I don't want to take anything, or if we can just have it all. Ibe kodwa umthetho esithi uba umntu ka-AV, umntu ka-AV is entitled to ukufumana ihafu yayo yonke le nto siyi-accumulate apha emtshatweni. Ithini ke ngoku ilo kuloo nto? Akafuni yena, but umthetho gives him the authority to take something.
In instances of a divorce or in death.
Yes, divorce, darling. We grew apart, remember?
Well, of course, awufuni phela AV ukuthatha izinto awufuni. Wait, let me just before ngiphendule into wrong. Are you saying that what happens in instances where you are married in community of property and then umshado wethu uphele, but then ekupheleni kwawo ngithi mina angifuni ukuthatha anything from you. I don't want anything from you. I just want us to separate. Then you most definitely can. You most definitely can.
Angabe iyasangana leyo ndoda. Angabe iyasangana leyo ndoda leyo.
Hayi kusanganiswa yintoni, uyandithanda xa we just grew apart. Yo, I also saw Uputsianda commenting on into ye mali. Ubanba yena, he consulted guys. The guy is ready. Yeah, you ready, Mr. Cole. Also saw him ethetha ngento yokubanba yena uye waconsulta kwathiwa fees of I'm not sure if it was prenup okanye the whole thing of out of community no accrual. Esithi uba yena noko kwaba phaa ko-10,000 5K. So noko I think it's doable, guys. We are still team out of community of property with the accrual.
Yeah.
Mr. Nxele,
Bali, I think you wanted to say something. You can carry on, then I can take it after you.
No, yeah, bengifuna ukusho ukuthi mina personally, if I were to choose today, I would definitely choose out without an accrual. Akuhlukane nje completely. Akuhlukane completely. Accrual can be very complicated, and I do not want that for myself. Kuhle ngidile nayo mangisiza abanye abantu, but when it comes to me, ngiyayibonga. Ngiyayibonga. It's just me. I wouldn't include an accrual. But nakhona kubalekile ukuthi umshado. I think this is one thing I forgot to mention when I was explaining lama matrimonial property regimes ukuthi umshado uma ngabe uzoba ne-ANC kubalekile ukuthi ube specific ekuthenini you are excluding an accrual system, because automatically umshado that is out of community of property includes the accrual. So you have to, bosses.
You keep saying ANC. Sazi ruling party tini ANC, non le ANC.
Sorry, anti-nuptial contract, prenup.
Good.
Sorry.
Good. Okay, Mr. Nxele, it's fine. Even though I'm not done, but it's fine.
Yo, I view.
One last question, Mbali. So,
yeah.
Wouldn't you feel like Banba, I'll feel it makes it trust to go into that's been kicked out of the door?
There are other ways in marriage that I believe you can enhance transparency. Just because we have separate assets, I wish ukuthi angizoba transparent now as my spouse ukuthi imali yami ngiyenzani or ngi-investa kuphi or ngiyenzani. There are so many ways that I believe can be done emshadweni to enhance transparency. Doesn't have ukuthi sivikelane. It doesn't have ukuthi or because I'm going to divorce you. It's just me protecting you from myself. Financially, I'm at risk be insolvent because I'm in business, or so I just want to protect you from izindo, because this is how I've looked at it, right? Lento yokushada out of community of property, especially financially, my husband is in business, right? And business like libe insolvent, or something happens and he just becomes insolvent, or his business gets sequestrated. Ukuba sequestrated, sequestrated with business, legally. For lack of a better word, it just means business in the business, right? Legal position that's called sequestration. So insolvent, now you are declared by a court you cannot handle your finances. No matter there are in financial difficulties whereby court order you cannot handle your things, right? And umuntu or insolvent inkantolo imshitha njengengane, awukwazi enter during the period of insolvency. You can't sign certain things. Inkantolo authorize umuntu ozokusignela on your behalf because you are incapable.
A child.
That's how serious it is. Uthola ukuthi umdala Nxewu, you are 50 something years old, but because you are insolvent, kumele ku-appointwe umuntu by a court order ukuthi akakhandlishe lama affairs wakho. Now imagine uthola ukuthi sishadile and you are going through that insolvency process.
Imagine they need to
You
start
are
showing
now
us
yabo ngiwa nawe ke manje uyabona akekho umuntu who's still going to be able to pay for the cars like hi akekho umuntu who's able to pay for the school fees zengane kuhle ukuthi uma ngabe ushayekile shayeka ngikhona mina as your spouse ukuthi ngiqhubeke nama responsibilities ekhaya while wena usayikhotha amanxeba uvuke but ukuthi sizowasobabili akwazi
yo perfect. Imagine lezi zinto zikhokhela 40,000 or 30,000, but NK1 Show is bringing to you guys for free. Like angazi bafethu yabo like aviwe AV, but it's fine.
Batwele sibatwele.
Wow, guys, let me just quickly go to our comment. I'll pick up 2 or 3 comments and then Mbali, our pendule while esakhona. This is the only show that brings to you izinto enikokhelayo ngeimali enkulu but nizuze for free of charge. It's NK1 Show on nothing. But ke asikho lapho sila emuzweni kaSihle. Umzulwini unama account amangaki? Sihle Zulu ini. Mzulwini usufuna ukuba umageba manje uyasifaka kaZulu cause isibongo Zulu ini, so you are putting yourself inside the sibongo nisakaZulu awusafuni ukuba wakamzulwini, but it's fine, none of my business. Ngenze ukuthi mhlambe washada in community of property wahlukana umkakho wathi lalela uzothatha isibongo sami sohlukana but isibongo sami sosala ngoba nakho uZulu ini, mina ngazi ukuthi umzulwini but asikho lapho. Uthi umzulwini what is needed to prove that some assets belongs to one spouse for one marriage or for one married out of community of property with accrual?
I just ngicela ukurephrase lo mbuzo so that ngiphendule into ekhona. Ubhuti is asking ukuthi yini edingakalayo as ubufakazi to prove ukuthi into ethile belongs to umuntu othile.
Wait, I just grab it to the screen ukuze uzoyifundela wena, mina phela ngifundile manje
ngiyakwazi.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is needed to prove that some assets belongs to one spouse for one married out of what is needed? So of course uma ngabe uno asset umuzi, there's a title deed that shows ukuthi umuzi belongs to you and you alone. Imoto, what is that called? Imoto? Is it called a wow, I actually can't believe that. But you also have something imoto eshoyo that eshoyo ukuthi imoto belongs to you. And every single asset or shares or everything kulula ukuthi ukwazi ukuthola. Ngiyaxolisa ukuthi uma ngabe umbuzo wakho anguphendulanga kahle but nguphendula ngendlela engicabanga ukuthi ubuza ngawo. Ziningi izindlela ongakwazi ukuthi into i-asset ukwazi ukuyilokhuza ukuyiprove ukuthi it belongs to a certain person. Njengomuzi nje, title deed is more than enough to show ukuthi umuzi belongs to umuntu othile.
All right,
No, I
thank you.
think it's
Unqobile uthi yo, imagine if people knew all of these things before beshade, yazi kungenza i-life ibe lula kanjani. I mean, like it can only be NK1 Show Nqobile, but it's fine. Okay, there's another question engingayibona. Okay, now uThabiso Zuma akayenako wakaZuma uJacob Zuma isibongo fana, ningaze nicabanga ukuthi mhlambe MK1.
Is there something wrong with your speaker? No, me mean.
Why?
Yeah, hohoza.
shame. Sorry,
Aviwe?
man.
Confirm?
I'm going to Nanduguva Gatle clearly.
Okay. This is the devil. Fire. No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's fine. No matter be a hohoza and yabuza, we can continue. It's fine.
Namanje ya hohoza.
Yeah.
No, this phone is very expensive for Ukhohoza, so I think it's a network connection on your side. Can you please respect
Yeah,
me?
it's from
Okay.
kulungile,
Okay.
ungaqhubeka ngoba uyazwakala. Kulungile. It's not major.
Umfoka MK la uThabiso Zuma umfowabo omncane kaDuduzane guys, and he's single. Ladies, he's single. So I'm just angisho ukuthini ngiyasho uthi can those contracts be signed on the day of lobola okungcono. So ukhuluma angazi isingisi angisazi mina, but akanoma i-prenup noma yini, but I think ubesho kulombuzo wokubuza ebengiwubuza ngesikhathi ngizikhatha off. Yeah, so ubuza ukuthi lama contracts ngakwazi ukusayinwa the same day
Yes.
ekulotshelwa ngawo.
Yes, but
Yebo, Thabiso impela kunjalo kuneke angazi ukuthi ubalo ufuna ukumlobola ngoba asazi umuntu, but it's fine. Okay, now Allen la uthi Jabba's wife won the case against his family ngenxa yazo lezi ncwadi. So kuyinkinga nokulobola futhi ke manje laba bancane ukusibulala labo. Niyazi legend. Bancane sibalobola bese bayasibulala and then so nje asikho safe guys.
Yazi bhuti khonto efikayo in my heart right now ukuthi ngiyazi ukuthi it's not going to be that applicable to audience ye show yakho ngoba it's mostly abazalwane. I stand to be corrected.
Yes.
Umthetho usuyakwazi manje nokunika umuntu ongamlobolanga ongashadile naye kodwa ohlalisana naye izinto zakho.
I've heard that.
Bazoyekuhlalisana.
Should you die? But ke asikho isidingo sokuthi we dive deep into this because nakhona phela ayi ukuthi uthola yonke into. But asikho isidingo ngoba phela abazalwane labo sidila nabo, abazalwane abakhipitile, siyakwazi lokho, so asikho
abazalwane abanjani? Hayi isikhathi sosiphelile impela kodwa abazalwane abanjani?
Abazalwane abakhipitile, abazalwane umuntu uhlala kubo aze ayoshada bese ayohlala ke naleyo ndoda. So le information le ngisho ngiyayisholo nje ngoba into efika enhlizweni yami manje ngiyayicabanga kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi asikho isidingo sokuthi ngi-emphasize ukuthi isebenza kanjani ngoba it is not applicable to your audience bhuti wami. Kukhona abazalwane abavuthayo la bakhuluma ngezilimi abakhipitile.
Librozia cadela brasia
My God, my Father.
La brosi cadebra fazia cadosia. Membrezi ala cadosia ala gebrada community of propalazia catusa with acruala zianda. Iasi la brapina pakula suya. Hane inkoma la kalasuya. I know ngiyakuzwa guys, no ngiyanizwa. Okay, now lokhuza ya lo AV's favorite comment from Usiyanda Kongo. I have received quotes less than 10,000. Well, I requested scripts from Inotari more than one. At most, it was 5K. So less ngayihamba ke leyo aboma 10,000, 5,000 lihamba 25K. Uglobola phela 25,000.
Uqinisile ubhutiyanda I think prices were a bit exaggerated that I had mentioned, but also I think that is because bengithathela kuma proforma invoices ebekade besenze ezinye izinto as well, and then si-ede lawa notary. So it is roughly around that amount of money. Uqinisile, I need to be corrected. I mean, we cannot give abantu information that is not accurate. Bathuke bese bagcine mhlambe yabo izinto sebengasazi bengazenzi ngenxa yokusaba. Ubhuti lokhuzana ngiyabonga ukuthi ukushilo lokho because ungenza ngireflect back ekuthenini most of the price ebekade ngisho was a proforma invoice. Uthola ukuthi umuntu bese simenzele ezinye izinto previously, and then manje sesokuhlanganisa konke including ukuthi wenze international contract bese i-proforma invoice igcinisiwe 20K uyabona isimsendela yona. So uma ngabe umuntu efuna ukwenza just the anti-nuptial contract, it is roughly around nemali shiwo phutsiyanda.
So ningakhali-ke guys, need to 25K, 10K. So yeah. And then my favorite comment, 2024, the comment of the year goes to Kobile Zindela. It's the comment. Le comment, it's even deserves to be sent to the screen so the whole world can see it. Uthi uNqobile Zindela, yay, marriage is expensive. Thula aviwe, thula. Ndifuna ukufunda ke ngoku. The comment of the year 2024 goes to uNqobile Zindela. Uthi yay, marriage is expensive ngeke. Amadoda awehliselwe inkomo ngeke guys. Ayikho fe lento. Amadoda awehliselwe inkomo guys. Ayikho fe lento. Amadoda awehliselwe inkomo guys. Ayikho fe lento. Amadoda awehliselwe izinkomo guys. Ayikho fe lento. Akusho umuntu
red flag bayabonakala.
Kusho umuntu wesifazane ongahlohlwanga umuntu, ayekho umuntu otheni, kusho yena uthi amadoda wehliselwe inkomo awikho fe le nto. Okay, kulungile ke bafethu. Let me take a last comment and then we wrap up everything. Sihle nanku umkipito wakho noNqobile. Nithaba labakipiti yini-ke le. Ngisho ilimi eziwu4 kwavele kwavuka amaqiniso. Eleprakha seyalazuya. Imekhe suye ilabra indhazea labra ukhozevaya. Ah my God. Yandala chongo. Oh labaradla sihle emzulwini ilabra la. Manje kuvuka no uNqobile Zindela udlisiwe and uyayidlisa i-team ngenxa yomhla ka14. uNqobile Zindela umuntu wesifazane. Justice for Nqobile Zindela. Viva Nqobile Zindela, viva. All right, let's see ukuthi khona enye comment mhlawumbe singakhuluma ngayo. Enye into futhi khona i-comment yamamjoli engibonile Mbaliyenhle mamjoli. Amantombazana wasifuni guys. Majita zinceku ibanu rash. Amantombazana wasifuni. Uthe ubuzo ukuthi kuyenzeka what if inceke kulobola masiyafa ngiyayithola yini ama assets. Uyabona ukuthi lo mbuzo uyapi. So ngiyacela nibe be careful. Labantu besifazana abasifuni, abasithandi, labafuna sifile. Bafuna sibalobole mase basibulala ukuze
Can I answer that, Butsuban? Ngiyazi ukuthi did I just call you that? Did I just call you that?
Mbaliyenkosi. Aviwe buqinisile masimqoshe le guest le buqinisile AV. The whole world now has just heard 58 people. 58 people.
Sorry, ngiziphuze yazi like literally sorry. Ngiyaxolisa ngiyasilo lo gama selibiza. Ngithi mina ngicela ukumphendula uMamjoli.
Yes.
Obviously yonke into engiyiphendulayo lana ngikhuluma from a perspective ukuthi firstly ngiyakholwa. So before I am an attorney, I am a Christian. Akukuhle ukuthi masilotsholwa noma njengabantwana bakaNkulunkulu abakholwayo sibe sibuka amafa alabo bhuti abasilobolayo. I think I don't think we should ever even be thinking about ukuthi mhla eshona brother Simanibani engilobola ngothola ukuthi as a Christian uyazi ukuthi awashadi. Uyazi. Legally of course ungathola. Njengoba bengichazile futhi thobani ukuthi I have helped a lot of women bethola izinto ngoba how sorry but I have helped a lot of women. I have helped a lot of women get assets or but abangashadile nabo kodwa abalotsholiwe. I have helped. So of course Mamjoli usulotsholiwe, of course uzothiwa you are married customarily, therefore you will get. But as a Christian I wouldn't advise that you go down that route. I wouldn't. Asikho isidingo uma ngabe uyakholwa usuke ungakashadi usuke ungakayibophezeleli lutho so usuke ungekho involved kwi-estate kaput. I just don't think this is just my personal opinion. Ngiyacela ukuthi abantu mabeyizwa lento engisho bengathi umthetho ukuthi it's just my opinion ukuthi akubuhle muyintombazane ekholwayo ukuthi uthi ubulotsholwa ubusucabanga namafa abhuti. Lokho kupainta ngisho nesithombe singesihle emndenini ocishe waba ufuture in-law wakho ukuthi ene kahle kahle ubushadela lezinto. Yabona, ngoba manje phela bazokuba iqiniso lithi bhuti Ncewu, imndeni ngoba iyalazi iqiniso ukuthi anishadile, iyakulwisa vele ukuthi no, you are not entitled to get this ngoba kushadiwe. Uyabona? So uyabona manje lento isikhoza i-commotion, isikhoza izinto eziningi, isidelay izinto sekunjani njani. So I wouldn't encourage it. So wena nje uma ngabe kwenze kube nebhadi lokuthi walotsholwa umuntu okulobolayo washona, ukukhuleka nje ukuthi uNkulunkulu akupholise kuphela, hayi ukuthi ube nendaba ngestate yakhe, ukuthi ube nendaba nokuthi ngingathola nezintweni zakhe, ngoba okokuqala it doesn't make sense. Beningahlali nokuhlala nobabili uma ngabe uthi uyakholwa. Yabona, it just complicates things further. Don't do it.
Ay, siyabonga Mbali ukuthi uyikhulume le ngoba Christ bafethu, they all out for it's fine. Now I comment, hey, now umzulwini madoda. Umzulwini uthi, can the courts are getting my lobola back? Divorce and claim 50% of estate after paying lobola only. Umzulwini madoda.
I am so disappointed in Umzulwini. But it's fine.
So that can the court assist in getting my lobola back? Can we divorce and claim 50% of estates after paying lobola only? Yes, of course. Lento ka 50%. Yabona lento izodinga ukuthi bhuti Ncewu sibuye siyibuke ngelinye ilanga ngoba yabona manje we are not just speaking about the types of marriages. Sesiya-ke manje kuma estates, which is a different area of the law. Sesiya in customary marriages, which is a different area of the law altogether. Ngoba yabo manje ubhuti usihle mayisebuza nokuthi can I get 50%? Isithanda ukuba complicated, but I have been involved in cases where abantu abalobolene kwakumele kuphume i-divorce decree ukuze abantu baqhubeke nezinto zabo ngoba kwakuthiwa bashadile. So of course uma ngabe kuphuma i-divorce decree kusho ukuthi bekekashadwa, and because bekuya divorce, of course izinto ziya divide. But why Butsihle? Why would you want to do that? Can the court assist you in getting your lobola back? I don't think into sengazicaca ukuthi isiwe enkantolo leyo. I just think into ebengadiscusswa imndeni ukuthi uma ngabe niyahlukana niyabuyiselana yena amalobola. I don't think there's even a need ukuthi ziye enkantolo unless you demanding your lobola back and umndeni awufuni mhlawumbe ukubuyisela. Yabona-ke, but in those instances I doubt ngoba phela nesintu ne-customary law iya-check ukuthi into ekanje isintu sithini isintu sithini isintu. Mina ngokwazi kwami uma ngabe kuyadependa ukuthi ubani owalo omunye, makuwubhuti owalo usisi, then of course ilobolo lakhe akalitholi back, but makuwusisi owalo ubhuti inkomo yabuya ngazi lokho. But I am angazi, I'm not an expert in customary law. If it's something bhuti Ncewu that you would want us to delve into one day, ngamele ungitshele kusanesikhathi so that I do extensive research about it, ngingafiki lana ngizokhuluma nje into engenasiqiniseko ngoba phela umthetho iqiniso lithi mkhulu, and each and every attorney has a specialization, and customary law isn't much of my expertise. I wouldn't want to just come here and tell you guys textbook information and not something practical. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Let me just take the last comment. Vele it's not a question, it's just a comment. Then Master Sibuyele ku AVI Vale, and then uthi udokotela uNtokozo Mazibuko. I think from a business person's perspective, out of community, without accrual makes sense. Cause when the ship is sinking, one can save it. Kunokuthi we both sink. One has to be able to save the ship. That's exactly
what I was explaining. oyedwa akaqhubeka akwazi ukukhokha izikweletu ekhaya oyedwa akaqhubeke. But also ngicela ukuthi mina mhlambe noma ningakangitsheli ukuthi ama closing remarks wathini, but ngicela ukisho lento so that I don't forget it. Ngoba ihlalile in my heart when I was preparing for this ukuthi, and I think it also goes in line with the very first question ebuzwe ubhuti Siyanda ukuthi we need to do away with the thought yokuthi uma we are marrying out of community of property because asithembani. There's nothing, ayikho into ongayenza, ayikho into ongayakha bhuti Nxewu nomuntu ongamthembi.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing you can build with someone you do not trust. It has absolutely nothing to do with trust, but rather protecting myself from unforeseen circumstances. So rather, I know myself to a point yokuthi kunginjani financially, so I don't want you. I love you so much that I do not want you to sink in a ship. Should I be able to sink one day? Not because and I think leyo mfundiso kumele ifakwe even nakubefundisi emasontweni who handle these sessions nabantu abazoshada ukuthi hayi ngoba abantu becabanga ukudivorce or becabanga ukuthi abathembani. Siyathembana but siyawazi ama weak points ethu each other. I know ukuthi financially uput so and so ish akukho kuhle. So I would rather be safe ukuthi ngicommit emntwini kodwa ngicommit ngibe ngiwazi ama shortfalls wakhe and protect myself from ama shortfalls wakhe. Hayi ukuthi ngivele kube ukuthi ngikuthanda namaphutho akho. Uthando has absolutely nothing to do with mistakes.
It's true.
Ngiyakuthanda impela, sizoshada sizowakha lo muzi, but I know ukuthi financially unjani and therefore I need to protect myself from that ukuze lo muzi uye phambili. And acknowledge ukuthi cha, financially better. Financially things are not looking good. I still wanna be with you, God. So asivikelelane. So it has absolutely nothing to do with, but vision yami ikhona ekuthenini izinto ezikanje zidiscusswe but Siyanda emasontweni, but ukuthi nje ngiyazi ukuthi into ezoba nzima. Kodwa ke I do trust our generation ngoba siyi generation elifunayo ulwazi elitholayo futhi. So into ekanje kungenzeka, it is possible ukuthi kubuye emasontweni ziyofakwa khona. And also the church in that way is assisting in equipping and sharpening young professionals within the church. Ngoba ume ngabe sizoba a group of young professionals, I'm going to be the attorney ezofika isizo drafter or isizobhala leyo or a notary ngisho njalo ngoba ngithe akusibo bonke abameli abakwazi ukwenza into ekanjena. Ngizofika as a notary mina ngizodrafta lento engizoyidrafta. Ubhuti Siyanda is going to be there with financial planning. We're going to get someone in the church who's a psychologist, also who's also going to even help abantu abashadayo in identifying ama traumas wabo, yabona, because leyanto has the potential of actually ruining umshado wakho. So sonke sibenzana nomfundisi xa lo munye is coming psychologically, analyzing abantu abazoshada psychologically, mina ngifika ngizodlala indima yami ngokwazi umthetho. Ubhuti Siyanda is there to help with the financial planning and estate planning if need be. Sisebenzisane as a team, uyabona. Bafike kubhuti Nxewu Nkosi yami sebezoshadisa. Ngiyadlala. Ngiyadlala. So the church vele kuhle ukuthi isize in aiding and equipping and sharpening young professionals within the church. And if this is a way ukuthi ngakwazi ukwenza lokho, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Ayenziwe.
Yo, guys, what a show, what a show. Angisafuna ukukhuluma kakhulu. I'm just gonna throw the bait to our co-host ngoba uzoza ashaye. Sis co-host, awivaleke sana sidlile ke namhlanje. Hayi namhlanje ndisuthi nditshebile. Ndatsha. Hayi ke ndiyabulela.
Xa unethanda utyile ke Mr. Nxewu. Sisimbali. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sithando zam. And I am glad bana you touched apha ekugqibeleni kulaa nto yokubana uba mayibe yinto eyenziwayo ezicaweni okanye ke wherever in whatever conferences, but like these are the things that needs to be discussed, especially because thina siyila generation woke. So I'm very glad ukuba uyazi-availa. Guys, she's availing herself. So xa nihosta mboneni nanku uyafuna. Uba ngaba ninayo inamba yakhe ningamthatha kuNxewu. Uba ngaba noNxewu niyamoyika, inbox ebeshilo uba abanye abantu uzaba inboxa. Yadlala zozeshawu. Okay, and we are deeply sorry ukuba mhlawumbi sesakubeka kwi-position critical in terms of umsebenzi. Siyaxolisela bandla nakubaphathi bakho. May they have mercy on you. We are deeply sorry.
Cishe sangahlangani ukusiza inkani yami nokuthi ke I sensed how disappointed ubhuti Nxewu was khathi ngimtshela ukuthi kuvela amanye ama-commitments, and I was just like, no, but I cannot let him down because I must just try to pull some strings ngibe khona. So but it was an absolute pleasure.
Siyabulela kakhulu ke sithandwa sam nangento yobani ba ke uyenzele for ubhuti Nxewu.
Now Nkosi yami sithi hawu Jehova.
Bani ubungasandibalanga, it's okay.
Now
it's fine, it's fine.
Yo,
guys, we have taken so much of your time, but we know it was worth the wait. Yeah, it really was worth the wait because there's so much that we learned in namhlanje from Osis Mbali. We are so humbled to see Banba usabele xana ubizwa. Thank you so very much. We are very grateful. So when's the drink after this? Oros after everyone has gone. To our viewers, the NK1 Show, we love you guys so very much, and we love the fact that you share the live. We love the fact that you engage with us. Even after the show, you guys, you are still on the comment section. Even though we are so grateful, guys, to have the audience. That is wonderful. As you guys, we shall then see you next week, hopefully on a Monday. We love you so much.
Laba bangako-share, please do share the live. I don't know why you guys are not sharing. Please press the share button, guys. Please press the share button. This was a very, very productive one. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week, Monday, 8 o'clock, with my co-host, the beautiful lady, the post on the Avy.